Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to today's episode. If you're a fan of 1990 sci-fi movies, there's a bounty to choose from. In this video, we're going to take a look at 5 noteworthy movies that either slipped your mind or are still seared into it. Either way, you're going to have a grand old time as we blast off into the top 5 1990 sci-fi movies you need to see again. Number 5, Gattaca, 1997. There's no such thing as a perfect movie, but the characters in Gattaca are as close as you're going to get. The near future is a genetically perfect society, and being a godchild or natural born will land you a gig as a lowly janitor. Vincent Freeman, that's a rather on-the-nose family name, cleaned his last toilet because he conned his way inside the Gattaca Space Center as a programmer. Being an invalid ain't easy, but it's doable if you hire an illegal DNA broker. Enter Jerome, a jaded, off-the-rack model of genetic perfection, minus 2 things. Jerome rents his premium DNA to Victor, thereby facilitating an intricate deception for Vincent realizing his dream of going to space. Something forbidden for godchildren. Vincent is chosen to join the next scheduled flight to Titan. The charade and the murder investigation don't get in the way. The intrigue throughout this film, but especially at this juncture, is expertly handled. And if not for Jerome's unwavering help, Vincent would have been found out in a heartbeat. It's the bond formed between Jerome and Vincent that is the most palpable. 2 not-so-perfect peas in a pod world, but the unlikely arrangement and friendship has legs. Speaking of legs, Irene, Uma Thurman, becomes romantically involved with his alter ego, Jerome. And when she discovers the truth about Vincent, her love for the invalid helps to disguise his identity. Gattaca cuts through the grain of the plurality of science fiction in the late 1990s. Encapsulated within the shell of a futuristic world that has forced eugenics on its population, Andrew Niccol crafted an energizing and intelligent science fiction film noir that doesn't relent in its pace and intrigue. Alan Arkin's Detective Hugo is excellent as the catalyst of the police investigation of the murder of Gattaca's director, and the news tightens all because of Vincent's contraband eyelash found at the crime scene, putting Vincent and Jerome in jeopardy, as well as their combined aspirations. Vincent riding the rocket to Titan and Jerome's willingness to make this happen.
You should be going instead of me. Why is that? Because up there, your legs wouldn't matter.
Gattaca is a prime example of a riveting science fiction crime drama, the likes of which are sorely missing in today's vapid and brain-dead movies. Woke studio execs aside, Andrew Niccol illustrates how a capable screenwriter can elevate a mediocre movie to a great one. After all, Andrew Niccol did pen The Truman Show, which was released the following year. Number 4, Fire in the Sky, 1993. Based on true events, alien abduction movies usually lack something. The dramatization of an abductee's experience generally gets pulled and stretched at the whim of the studio producing the thing. However, the events depicted in the movie are based on the police investigation, making Travis Walton's experience possibly the most extensively documented case in the history of the phenomenon. Travis Walton's account is told in a very natural way. We are acquainted with Snowflake, Arizona, and Travis's work crew, Mike Rogers, Alan Dallas, David Whitlock, Greg Hayes, and Bobby Cogdill, who were all clearing brush in the White Mountains. The mood on site is light, but the commute home was hell. Travis is suddenly taken by an object in the sky, leaving the guys now homicide suspects. A good third of the movie reveals their traumatizing experience as the town turns against them during the police investigation. 5 days later, Mike receives a call from Travis. This is when we are treated to Travis's experience aboard the spaceship. And this is where I think the studio took liberties. And I would be curious to know the accuracy of the ship's interior according to Travis's accounts. The studio hired Travis Walton as a consultant for accuracy, but the ship in Aliens Day don't seem right. The ship looks filthy. Look at the squalor of this hallway. Dusty surgical table, gelatinous liquids all over the place. And I'm sorry, but the aliens look like although Travis booting the alien in the head brought a smirk to my face. And from what I've seen, Fire in the Sky is probably the best alien abduction movie based on real events. Way better than Communion, Whitley Strieber's abduction movie based on his best-selling novel. But no fault to Whitley Strieber, who didn't approve of Christopher Walken's portrayal of himself in the movie. Number 3, Total Recall, 1990. The mega classic Schwarzenegger hit Total Recall, based on the Philip K. Dick short story, is a head El Supremo. And the distinction is well earned. Quaid is the everyman with a loving wife, but his job sucks. He picks Harry's brain about recall at work, but maybe they should be discussing on-site hearing protection instead. The Kafka-esque plot weaves the characters perfectly through the movie as Quaid learns a version of the truth from himself. Karl Hauser.
You are not you. You're me. No shit.
and is provided everything he needs to get to Mars. The discovery of an ancient Martian alien artifact beneath the colony and a brewing revolution has the merciless governor Cohagen's knickers in a twist. As Quaid tries to remember who the f*** he is, Cohagen's top lieutenant Richter pursues him relentlessly,
See you at the party.
along with his fake wife Lori. I mean, they all work for Cohagen. Spoiler, Total Recall never skimps on cramming neck-break action that constantly risks the colony. And with so much at stake, the payoff is huge, giving Mars a second lease on human life. And back in the 1990s, that was a breath of fresh air. Number 2, Ghost in the Shell, 1995. Ghost in the Shell is a landmark anime film set in the near-future cyberpunk world, where technology integration has blurred the lines between human and machine. The story follows Major Makoto Kusanagi, a cyborg law enforcement agent whose mechanical body houses a human consciousness, working for a government security agency in a highly digitized society. The film centers on the Major's investigation of a puppet master, a mysterious hacker capable of infiltrating and manipulating human minds through the cybernetic networks. As she pursues his enigmatic entity, Kusanagi begins to question her own identity and the nature of consciousness in the world, where memories can be programmed and identities can be digitally constructed. Ghost in the Shell explores profound philosophical questions about identity, consciousness, and the definition of humanity. The narrative challenges viewers to consider what makes an individual unique, when the boundaries between organic and synthetic existence becomes increasingly indistinguishable. The puppet master represents a new form of life, a sentient artificial intelligence seeking to evolve and understand its own existence. The film culminates in a revolutionary encounter between Kusanagi and the puppet master, resulting in a groundbreaking merger that transcends traditional concepts of individual identity. Ghost in the Shell has become a seminal work of science fiction, influencing numerous films, anime, and philosophical discussions about technology, consciousness, and the potential future of human-machine integration. Number 1, Starship Troopers, 1997. The jolly holly days of fascism are alive and well in 2197. Straight from the pages of the renowned novel by Robert A. Heinlein, Starship Troopers, Johnny Rico climbs the ranks of the military after a bug bomb flattens Buenos Aires. The great adventure for Rico and his mates turns into an unmitigated nightmare because the military brass underestimated the arachnid threat.
Frankly, I find the idea of a bug that thinks offensive.
Humanity's cockiness is even more cocky in the future, and it cuts to the core of our species' survival.
Come on, you apes, you wanna live forever!
Good thing Michael Ironside, John Razak, is present and accounted for, so these apes will have a fighting chance because throwing raw meat at the menace seems to be the brass's main battle tactic.
They sucked his brains out.
Doogie Howser has a different plan. His psychic ability could turn the tide of the war in humanity's favor, but a lot more need to die before that cheery conclusion. And of course, it's no surprise that humans are equally at ease squaring off with their own kind. Yeah, we don't care much for you fly boys around here. Heinlein is more than deserving of the distinction as being one of the top 3 science fiction writers of his time, right up there with Arthur C. Clarke and Isaac Asimov. Starship Troopers, the movie, kept the novel's provocative tone and prediction of the future. A world government ruled by the military, otherwise known as a statocracy. The fascistic veneer of the movie brought criticism from critics and audiences alike, much like the novel, but everyone missed the point considering that the movie is clearly sardonic. Or maybe they're just upset with the co-ed bathrooms. Either way, the Great Bug War of 2197 is still as much fun to watch now as it was back then. How the media was incorporated was a stroke of genius. Its commentary is still relevant. The cast's comical campiness works. Otherwise, ridiculous scenes like this would be too cringy.
We're gonna fight! And we're gonna win! Yeah!
You serious?
Even Little Busey didn't annoy me that much. Alright everybody, that's the list. How was that for you? Did any of these movies top your list of 90s sci-fi? Which ones would you have rather seen? Make some noise in the comments section. And please, don't forget the all-important like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you in the next one.